Okay, so our last video, we talked about the internet and all the things that you can do on the internet and how it works and how do you search for stuff. And one of the things that came up is email. And so email is such a main topic in the context of communication online or on the internet that it deserves its own individual session to kind of highlight what happens in the sense of when you email somebody, how does that work? So before we get too deep, let's just talk about how the current postal system works in any part of the world, pretty much. Okay, so let's just say that you wanted to send an email to me. All right, now you're in the States, I'm in Canada, this part of the world. Okay, and the way how it works is you have a package. Let's say this is your package or a mail. Either a package or a mail. All right, and you wanted to send that package. What you would then do is go to the US Postal Service, and US Postal Service, you would basically put on that mail, you would put your information out, you tell them what you want to do, and they would then take that package internally and then send it to another place, and then send it to another place, and send it to another place, and somehow gets across the border, and then somehow it gets to the Canada Post system. And then the Canada Post says, yeah, I know exactly what to do with this. I'm going to just keep routing it. And then they know exactly where I live. And so this is my house or condo or whatever. This is my house and I live on floor blah, blah, blah. Let's say floor 22. And so therefore, they know exactly what street I live on. This is a street. They know exactly where the thing, and then they know exactly which floor to deliver it because you provided enough information on this package to give them enough instruction so that they know what to do in order to send me that package. And now I have my package on my other side, and I'm excited and I'm happy that you sent me something in the mail. And now I have my package. Okay, so this concept is fairly straightforward. I mean, it doesn't really matter what happens behind the scenes, except for the fact that you know that you sent me, you put my name on the address and you sent me a package. Now, it doesn't matter whether you use US Postal Service or you use UPS service or you use a FedEx service. They might, if they want to, route it to Canada Post, or they might just send it, they might most likely just deliver it to you directly because they're faster, better, more expensive service. Right? So that's how the postal system works. And this doesn't matter which part of the world you are, the exact same thing applies. This could be, Antigua Postal Service, and this could be Australia Postal Service. Doesn't matter, same principle applies. The mail will get to you, all right? So in order for this system to work, there's a few things that have to exist. You need to put on your envelope, you need to put who is it going to. You need to put a to address. Okay. You also need to say who is coming from. R-O-M. Why? Because in the case that they can't find me, let's just say that I actually moved from this address. I moved from this address. They need to be able to reroute this mail back to the original sender. They said, hey, I'm sorry, your son has moved from his location and we can't find him anymore. And therefore, it's on you to figure out where this guy is and send him the mail again, right? They just route it back to you. So that's why you need a from address. And the third thing that you need here as well, you need a stamp, S-T-A-M-P. Those are the three things required in order to send the thing. With FedEx and UPS might be different. It's just, you just need to pay, P-A-Y, all right? So now that you have that concept, which is very straightforward and you're already familiar with this, the question is, well, how does this translate to email? Well, like I said in the previous video, email just stands for electronic mail. G-M-A-I-L, electronic. The electronic is the part that's interesting here because this is the part that relates to, it's just the electronic version of the physical version, right? So in this particular case, if I wanted to send it to, you were sending it to me, it would be, you know, Dwayne, D-W-A-I-N, at, I'm just gonna write the at sign here, at gmail.com. By the way, this is not my real email address, so don't try to send me email at this email address. It won't work, okay? It's not gonna go to me. So Dwayne at gmail.com, all right? So you would put in my email address and then I would just, you know, receive your mail. Well, you also need to put your email address here. So in this particular case, we're gonna say mom, M-O-M, at, and let's say you had a Yahoo address, YAHOO.com, okay? And then you have to pay for it. Well, in the physical world, you would pay for it. In this particular world, in the internet world, it's usually free. I'm gonna put free in red here because free on the internet is not really free, F-R-E-E. But we're gonna say for this conversation that it is free. What really happens here is that instead of you paying, is it because you don't actually pay money, what you do is you pay with your privacy, P-R-I-V-A-C-Y. You pay with your privacy, meaning that they actually just give it the service to you for free, and then they serve you ads, they serve you banners, advertising. And once they serve you those advertising, that's how they're able to give you that service for free. So nothing is really free in that sense, but for the sake of this conversation, you don't have to pay for it. All right, so that's basically the concept. So the next question that comes about, well, is I understand this part. I'm sending the mail to you, so this is your name and this is my name, you know, mom at whatever, right? But I don't understand this part, this at Gmail part and this at Yahoo part. And the only way I could explain this to you is that think of at Gmail as one of these services. So in this particular case, let's pretend that Gmail was FedEx. So Gmail would be FedEx. So what the Gmail is just the name of the company that's supplying the email service, right? In this, if let's pretend that FedEx was in the business of sending mail and I went to FedEx to send mail, it would be DWAIN at FedEx, FEDEX.com, or it would be at UPS.com. The difference is these guys are not in the business of sending digital mail. They're in the business of sending physical mail. And so that's the name of their company. And so when you're gonna get a parcel, you normally see that FedEx stamp on it, or you see that, you know, UPS stamp on the box. Well, it's the exact same thing here, but instead of, you know, FedEx sending the mail, it's Google, Google. So Google controls the email server in this particular case, or the email system, or the email company, and they named their service Gmail, Gmail for Google Mail. All right. In the case of Yahoo, the company itself is actually called Yahoo, and they have a name server called Yahoo.com. So people have multiple different servers. What you do is you register your mail. You register your mail with a provider of your choice, any provider that you think. So some people have Gmail, some people have Yahoo, some people have Hotmail, some people have, you know, AOL. It doesn't really matter. The point is that as long as you put in the correct to email address and the correct, like your email address to from email address, it will get to the right person because it's going to be routed individually. So that in a nutshell is how the email system works. That's to answer the question of what is an email. There's got to be a part 2 to this where I explain a little bit more about how the email is routed in the sense of you accessing it, because that's very important. That there seems to be a confusion. So I'm going to answer that in another message. Basically, how do you access the mail from your phone? So now that you understand this, this should be a little bit clearer, hopefully.